Here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Well, folks, it's that time of the week again. Welcome into DeathPiles and Taxes. This is going to be a very interesting, very special episode. We got a lot to cover. Like they used to say in the Smoking the Bandit, we got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. So hunker on in. We got in studio Mr. Michael Benjamin Painter.
Hello.
We got Frederick Adam Beasley.
Whoa.
And via recorded line, Skyped in is we'll just call you Pelican,
From where I
aka
sit, Pelican.
BW.
I'll take it.
Don't want a man to lose his job, but we've got some good Husky sections recorded down, I think. We'll find out what the feedback is with that. I enjoyed them. And it's that week, boys. It's DeathPiles and Taxes. If somebody told me how my week was last week, I'd have called you a dirty liar.
I don't want to get, well, I guess we'll get right into it. I mean, we've had an amazing week. There's been some interesting twists and turns. Derek had an opportunity, threw down some we're talking big league numbers. There were several digits, lots and lots of zeros. And getting into that, like I said, it's the DeathPiles and Taxes. We all will pass away. We had a great pass away this last week. Jerry Sloan here in Utah, he was great, a lot of things, but he did pass away. Going back to the special bonus episode, Derek is sitting on a huge amount of memorabilia, and he listed that, and he had one individual in particular. It says, "I want you to come see me with the good stuff."
National icon, local treasure. God bless Jerry Sloan, the only person that could shout those words in my grandma's living room and be praised for it. Anyone else got some kind words before we move on for Jerry?
If you haven't listened to the Jerry Sloan Hall of Fame,
What was
yep,
that?
the Jerry Sloan Hall of Fame speech lately, well worth it.
Well worth it. Go put it in your Google machine. I put a little quote from him at the end of our last episode. Don't know who caught it, who didn't, but anyways, praise man. I bought the lot of I bought a lot of his goods. And go into detail on that on a previous DeathPiles and Taxes episode. Actually had a few numbers go up with that a little bit, I think, because of that. So the man's passing away. It's Memorial Weekend. You got to start listing stuff. So I got a little heavy into it more on the local scene. I was putting up the balls. I was putting up, just random stuff like Adam was saying. And I have a man contact me and says, I want this Western Conference signed ball. And I was asking, I think, $1,500, something for it. And he said, "What else do you got?" And that's the magic question, because you're opening up Pandora's box on that one. I got a lot of stuff. So I kind of gave him the rundown. I said, "You want everything? You want just some of the good stuff?" And he said, "Well, I'll just bring over a lot of stuff." And gives me an address, and we're talking good sums of money. Derek
had to go get the safety deposit box key.
And go, visit hidden storage areas and, under array of night light, so no one was to detect where all the goods are buried. But
and this is no exaggeration on this. So I got the phone call. He says, "Hey man, what are you doing tomorrow around 2:00?" I said, "Well, I don't know. You tell me." He says, "Can you meet me at this guy's office? He asked me to bring the good stuff, and you just never know if you're going to run into a meth head, if you're going to run into
that's a story for later too.
Run into the You don't know if you're going to the good part or the nasty, stabby part of Ogden. You just don't know." So he brought me in as backup.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to get shot, I'm going to bring Adam with me, because Adam gets a little mouthy sometimes, so I know he's going to take the first bullet for me. I can probably get out and get help by then. But, no, you need some situations you don't want to go in alone. Also, Adam's a good icebreaker. I'm pretty good on a podcast around people I know, but I understand that when I first meet somebody, it takes me a little while to grease them gears and get warmed up most of the time.
Well,
so.
You look like an ex-convict.
I kind of look a little sketchy sometimes. Grandmother said the same thing, but that was when the wagon was full. So I get meeting with this guy, and I have Adam help me bring in the goods. Got a couple boxes, and we got signed balls. I got Hall of Famer finals jerseys. I got
shoes. You had the Karl Malone, the John Stockton Dream Team shoes.
I got things Adam had never seen before, so he was kind of happy about it.
There was some plethora of items, and I thought, man, why didn't you let me get a chance to get this stuff?
Hey, it's your lucky day here in a minute. So, so we go in, and the guy's not there, but it's a nice facility. It's some sort of a healthcare. I don't know. He owns a nice facility. He brings us back into a boardroom with a big old nice table. So I said to myself, Self, this guy's got some money. You can kind of evaluate situations. And so we kind of start down the negotiating process. I'm showing him everything. He says, well, how do I know you're not just real good on a Sharpie? And by the time I bring out the Christmas card from Karl Malone's family, it's just, you don't fabricate certain things, right? I mean,
there's just no way that you can fake those things, the parking passes, the stat sheets. There was just too much stuff. So he got into some details like, how did you get this? Where did you find this stuff? Because when I found it, it's kind of one of those unbelievable stories.
And that's where I said you listen to Death, Piles, and Taxes, and you can hear it all up, buddy. I'll be back in an hour because I'm tired of telling this story to you. But no, we went into detail and told them how things worked and where we got it. And I don't want to give too much away because then it's like, well, you got this for 10 cents and you try and sell it for $200. You kind of get that. So long story short, everything was out on the table, and he wanted to know, well, if I was to go all in and buy everything, what are we talking about here? I thought he might just want a couple of things. He kind of slipped and said, so for that ball, you want $10,000. I said, no, for that ball, I was asking $1,500 on eBay. I'd sell it to you for $1,000. But we had a lot of other memorabilia items. So he let a number slip. So I knew in his head already he'd calculated to the 10,000 mark. It was kind of that negotiation. Adam's just telling him how cool things are. Go ahead, Pelly.
A guy says, you want $10,000 for that ball, and you said, no, I only want $1,000.
Well, I'm going big picture, right?
That's exactly where I went, and I knew this guy had some dollar bills in his pocket, and that's when he was enamored by this other basketball that Derek didn't even have with him, and Derek kept going into details about, well, it's not that great, it's game used, it's really worn.
There's a ball that's been sitting in Jerry Sloan's barn for probably 20 decades. The only name I could really make out was Theodore Blue Edwards. It had dirt on it. It looked like the grandkids had used it every Sunday to go out and play in the rain and the mud. And I told him I don't have that one because it's not really that valuable. And he seemed enamored by, I need to get this to give to my buddy. And where's this ball at? And I said, well, we'll throw it in the package, man. But look at this is a freaking finals backrest that Michael Jordan might have sat on.
Well, I got a Blue Edwards basketball you could have.
We all do.
So, going from this guy's reaction, and Derek's, he has this stuff, and I think he just has so much that he forgets. So I brought up a few other items. I brought up the special Jerry Sloan's jock strap.
And guy was wanting the jock strap, and I had it up on eBay, and it had a lot of views. It had a lot of watchers at the time, so I had it up for $100. I put a special post out there so our people could watch it, and I had to take it down because this guy makes me an offer on the lot. So now, anyway, we'll get into that. So yeah, the guy says $10,000, but I'm seeing bigger picture. If he's willing to pay $10,000 for a basketball, what's he going to pay for the big package? And if I say, yeah, cash, let's just go, he's going to feel screwed. It's not going to work out long term. I'm going to be trying to pack up boxes and stuff while he realizes what he's done.
And like I said, Derek has so much stuff he didn't realize it. And going back to the episode, we're talking over 30 banker boxes full of different items. We're talking there's a huge plethora of items. And I was trying to help the lot size. Because this guy threw down some big numbers. And Derek will get into that negotiation part. But I wanted to make sure that he understood this is not everything. There was a lot more to this, and that's where Derek really got into some details. The guy asked him what he's into it. Derek threw out a pretty big number, and the guy says, well, will you take 15 for it?
Well, let me go back to my negotiation tactic on that, too. The guy asked what I'm into it. Now, obviously, like Pelican says, it's not a lie if you believe it, right? Like your time's worth something, too. So I might have added a little extra dollar amount to what I was into it.
Well, that's because you put a lot of time and effort, and you found the items. There's literally been hundreds of hours of research.
And the guy says, Stu, you don't start a negotiation like this. I'm not a very good poker player. So let's, just cut to the chase. Because then you're just telling me, well, you have the upper hand here, sir, somewhat. So anyway, I felt a little confident with that because I'm like, well, I'm not here to BS you or whatever either, but like, I'm not going to walk out with, feeling like I got my tail between my legs as well. So the guy throws out, what do you want for everything? And I said, and then you can knock down with a feather about this point. I said, well, I'd like 20 grand.
That's exactly $20,000.
And he says, well, okay, well, I was thinking more 14 or 15,000. And I said at that point, well, I'll do that, but I'm going to take back the shoes. I had 2 Dream Team Karl Malone and John Stockton shoes, and there's Sports Illustrated that's signed by Karl Malone that says
Personalized message.
to Coach Sloan, MVP year, thanks, Karl Malone, whatever. And he said, well, why would you want those items out of everything you got here for that sum? And I said, well, because these Michael Jordan shoes just sold at auction for, over $500,000. Now, I understand as much as the next guy that John Stockton and Karl Malone are not Michael Jordan. However, if that's going for $500,000, I figure that these Dream Team shoes, they're up there in value.
Yeah, they're
2
worth.
top 20 players, right?
Depends on what list you're at. You can say the best point guard, the best power forward,
True
the
power
first or
forward.
second. You could argue the points. That's a whole other podcast for a whole other day. But they're Hall of Famers. They were on the Dream Team. Dream Team's known to, have done some good business around the world that associated with Michael Jordan. So anyway, the guy kind of looks at me and, Adam, I guess you can take it from here.
So, again, imagine this. I mean, this guy, he has no idea who we are. He found us on the marketplace. We show up to his office with some unbelievable items. And, the guy says, hey, I've got a lot of clients. What can I do with this? And he wanted to give some items to some people. Anyways, he mentioned that he has a financial person. And I'm like, hey, what's this guy's name? And he said it, and needless to say, I knew the individual. And he was like, what do you mean you know this guy? And I said, yes, I know him. And we actually got on a FaceTime call with the guy.
So Adam says, let's call him up, and he can vouch for us that we're authentic, we're the real deal. And the guy, which is kind of going to come back to ironic, he said, well, he can vouch that my money is good, that this check will clear. And so Adam gets the guy on FaceTime. They him and hot up, and don't tell him exactly what we're doing because he wants to give him some gifts or whatever, but basically vouch for each other. And so, Adam has to get going to his grandma's birthday party about this point.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Nana turned 80, so we had to get out of there.
So basically the guy says, well, how's this going to go down? And he obviously didn't have 20 grand in cash there about his person, which I play this differently today than I did 4 or 5 days ago, but hindsight is 20/20.
And I left at that moment because I had to get there, and the guy came back and wrote Derek a $20,000 check and said, let's wait till it clears. And then Derek says he'd get all his stuff together. So
well, Adam's shortchanging himself here. Adam says, well, this is how it's going to go, Bob. He said, buddy, this is how it's going to go. If you write him a check, well, Adam first said cashier's check, and the guy was little, whatever. Adam said, well, if you write him a check, he's taking all the stuff. You're not holding on to not one.
no,
not one strand of a pom-pom will stay here with you.
we're not leaving this finals basketball with you. Karl Malone's jersey, not even the Pat Riley, signed thing.
Rod Hundley.
These items are not staying here with a check. Yeah, I told him to go get a cashier's
Didn't trust him
check.
with the jock strap.
No.
Jock strap wasn't even there.
Oh,
Adam
okay.
just threw that in the deal.
Yeah, we weren't going into
Just a
that.
filler.
And then I said, what do you want? He said, I want everything. So anyway, so the agreement was he wrote me a check for the $20,000. I loaded up the wagon to go back home. Adam called me several times afterwards saying, what just happened? I called my wife saying, you won't believe what just happened. And we took our check down, put it in the bank, and I said, no, listen, I just sold a guy a lot of goods here, some sports memorabilia. What happens if, I just like, do I cash this? What's the procedure here to get my money, and I want it now? And they said, well, it's going to take a couple days to clear, and it should be good by Monday, which is coming up here in about 3 days. And so I'm thinking everything's great. I'm farting through silk, going through house by house, and I'm walking around like cock of the walk. So you can tell by the tone that we're taking this goes a little south. The guy sends me a message back that said, hey, man, my business partners weren't so keen on what just happened. They didn't know about it. and he did write it on a company check, but I'll back it personally if they won't. And so I'm okay. Still a little hesitant, but so I'll get everything together. Once it clears, come drop it off at your house. So for the next couple days, I'm getting everything because we took a small fraction. So my front room looks like Jerry Sloan's barn of 1996 era, or probably 99 actually, because there was some things from 98, 97 season. But anyway, so it comes back and there's a hold on the check, and I call up Adam. I'm like, what's going on here? What's this mean?
Anytime you get a hold on a check, that's not good.
And so then I contact the guy. I'm like, listen, buddy, like, what's the deal here? It's waiting for it to clear. I've been putting stuff together, and I guess I could read it verbatim, but I'll just say it how I feel it because me reading it's like it's painful for some. So
so the deal went south real fast.
So the guy basically says, well, I can't do it. My business partners weren't too happy about it, and I said, well, we kind of had an agreement there. I took the check. I have a bounced check fee. I've been putting stuff together, and we're still out to lunch on some of it. But he said, well, how much are you out? And I said, well, it's hard to tell because Jerry Sloan died that day. I don't know what the income. He said, what was your loss of income? I said, I have no clue what's going to sell on eBay.
So before you throw out some numbers, we have two extremely highly educated individuals here, way more than myself and D-Roy.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask who.
I mean formally. I mean, not ways of the world, but we both have Master Painter and Master Pelican here. So this is going to bring in the ethic version. So this is where I want Pelican, I want your input. So the breach of contract was $20,000. And then the question now becomes the timing, the potential loss of revenue. And this guy feels bad. Like I says, we have a personal acquaintance, which next time I go to a Jazz game in the suite, I know it's going to be brought up.
Which is ironic because he brings him in to vouch for his credibility of this check clearing, and then now it did not clear.
So
say something about his accountant.
He did ask his accountant to give me write some stuff. So
I wish that was his accountant.
So Pelican, as that, what do you think should happen on this individual's behalf to make things right for D-Roy? Well, how do you think that he should take care of it? Is there a financial obligation?
What do you think the next move should be?
For him or for Derek?
For him, and then for Derek, how can his reaction be?
So I don't know what he should do, and maybe that bridge is already gone. But if I was Derek, I would just graciously accept defeat, because I think by doing that you keep whatever posts are still holding that bridge up. You keep them intact because you never know. One day in the future, the guy might call him and say, "Hey, you were real fair with me. Let's go back and revisit some of this stuff." And if the guy sounds genuine, I mean, you guys are married. You know what it's like that sometimes you know that something's the right thing to do, but then you get told that it's not. So maybe that's where he's at. He still feels down in his heart that it was a good idea for him, a good value, but he's just being overruled at this moment. But if you burn the bridge, that bridge is gone. If you keep that band alive a little bit, you never know how it's going to come back to benefit you.
Oh, I like that. Painter?
Well, I think I'm not quite as forgiving as Pelican. I think going forward, Derek, what I would do though, definitely if you ever get in this situation again, is I think I'd ask for some earnest money down. If somebody's acting like they're gonna walk out with all your stuff or ready to place and they want to purchase everything, I mean I'd probably ask something like that. I'd ask for $5,000 there on the spot, and if the check clears, you can take that out of the total amount. If not, it's they're kind of SOL. It's kind of along Pelican's lines though. I mean if you're not DOA right now, maybe there's something you can kind of foster still, and you can work with the guy, and maybe you can sell some of it, or maybe his partners come around.
I like that.
Something along those lines. Don't burn a bridge. You might need to walk over it.
Sound advice from the two masterpieces.
That's why we bring him in. Well played out is he was kind of blaming Corona. I said, dude, we're all dealing with this Corona stuff. It's nothing new to just your business. And I said, I'm out, whatever my I don't know whether they're going to charge me for a bounce check down at the bank, but I'm not too happy to go have that discussion at the time. And I said, and also, I've been putting this stuff together, pulled it all off eBay. The time that Jerry Sloan died, whether you like it or not, that's your prime opportunity to sell a lot of this stuff. So he's wondering why I'm out financially, and we threw some numbers back and forth, but really in the thick of it, he said, well, if I give you a check for $3,000, what's that do for you? I said, well, it makes me sleep a little better. You don't have to do that, obviously. I mean, I just want whatever fees I'm out to be covered. But, realistically, I was hoping to sell this stuff. And he said, well, what's your address? I'll send you a check for $3,000. And I did say, well, I mean, it needs to clear before I'm going to accept this thing. So I kind of felt like Donald J. Trump's lady friends at the time, just go away, here's some money. But go ahead, Adam.
Wow. I think you saw the same thing there, Pelican. I mean, if the guy says, I'm going to give you $3,000, I feel like I should probably give the guy something. I'll throw the guy a bone, right? Give him some memorabilia, maybe not the good stuff, but still make the guy feel good, saying, hey, man, I'm sorry I wasted your time, your energy. I'm still going to pay you $3,000, but here's a few items, right? Was that the right thing to do, Pelican?
Absolutely. I think, hey, I'm willing to give you $3,000, and you turn around and, you don't say the number, but you say, okay, I'm willing to give you $200 worth of stuff.
Well, that's where I was talking with Adam about this a little bit yesterday. I gave a painter a call. We were having a heads up on some other sports stuff going on and got into it. But basically, that Thurl Bailey ball that's been sent out of the barn that I wouldn't give to Pelican's dog is going to be a proud owner. If nothing else, we thought we'd throw it and sweeten the pie a little bit, but we'll see how that plays out in weeks to come. Checks in the mail.
See if that $3,000 really catches.
Yeah. I said, you got the Venmo? This is before we did any of this. He told me he was old school, didn't do Venmo, but then when we saw him, he was a younger gentleman that has some money. So
cash money always speaks, like Painter said. And, that's a version that we learned, and I learned a little bit from it, and we used that later on this week. In fact, just yesterday, Derek and I had another large opportunity that involved a lot of numbers.
Well, let's get into that one after the break, because that's a whole other fish of a different tail. Let's wrap up this Jerry Sloan stuff.
I think the cash money is a good advice. I try to pay with a lot of things with cash. I just, unfortunately, a lot of people don't take $1 bills. So.
Well, that's from working the weekends down the Jiggly Hut. Then girls tip out well. Security guy, I mean, when you can't help, you got to do something. You got to put food on the table. The guy's a hard-working man, and he's got a family and kids to feed. So I appreciate your hustle there, Pelly. What it comes down to is, when you're talking those large numbers, I guess cashier's check or taking some sort of collateral is probably the way to go. I understand that somebody probably doesn't have $20,000 on them, and to say, can you go down to the bank in a half hour and get that? Probably should have pushed it a little more, but I can see both points. We made a good connection with Adam's mutual friend. Adam's a good guy to have around, not only for added security, but he knows everybody. So when he came to pick me up at the card store to go together on this trek, he ran into his old high school football coach that was there talking to Phil. We go over, he knows this guy, he knows that guy. Kind of like Pelican was saying, I think in one of the Husky sections, is Adam's a pretty friendly dude. He had all the ladies around him at the time at college, and now he just knows everyone. So find that person to network with, fellowship with, and make your life a little better. And we'll see how this plays out. I'm not sold on it's all burnt bridges and all downhill, but I definitely went from a pretty high to not a low, but just kind of disappointment. When you have more than you've made some years of your adult life coming in one fell swoop, it was a pretty good adrenaline rush. I didn't sleep that night, and then for it to come to naught. We'll see what happens.
So you're saying we've dropped from the Wynn buffet to the Chuckarama? Is that kind of what we're
I went from, so all my friends were
Red Lobster down to Sizzler.
Lunch next time we were out to Wendover, which I still might do. Who knows? If the $3,000 comes through, that's more than enough for a buffet.
The trucker special at the Red Garter?
Yeah, all you can eat spaghetti and homemade sauce.
Slots and ham down in Mesquite.
The best special out there in Wendover is that veteran special they have out there.
Oh, not all of us were active duty or served our country, so we have to bring a friend to get that discount.
Hey, man, when he was leaving, Pelican knew when he get deployed, he knew what to do to take care of his, his needs, his necessity. His camel hump got filled.
And one more thing, from the Jerry Sloan Estate, now the guy's down 3 Don Shula autographed pictures that I'm bequeathing and giving my good friend Michael Painter. He's been a good friend throughout the years to me. I just wanted, it says to Mike.
Well, is this not crazy, though, that my favorite basketball coach has my favorite football coach? He's got an autograph to him, and it's addressed to me.
It's to Mike.
To Mike Don Shula. Best regards.
There's a few of those. I wasn't going to take the time to get them, validated and pay for the autograph certification, but they were in the Jerry Sloan pile of. They're like on Kodak film, so it's like a real photograph with. I think it's Jerry's boy Michael or cousin or something.
But as far as my posterity will know, that is to me,
so,
to Mike, and is that Jerry Sloan's handwriting on the back?
I believe that's Bobby.
Oh, okay. Either way, it's Coach Sloan, and as far as this thing goes,
I mean, you can tell it however you want to tell it, but
it'll be told.
There's a few pictures. You got some barn mold on that I just want you to have the full.
Well, I appreciate it. It's going to be framed. If I ever get a nice centerpiece like Adam up here where I can display things proudly, by hell, this is going up there with our picture. Picture of friends.
Do we got anything else to address before we go to the break?
That's a solid picture.
Let's wrap up the Jerry Sloan. We get on that. Everybody got their 3 cents in.
I think we're good. Like I said, this is the Death Piles and Taxes podcast. This was the 20G. We went well. We crashed and burned. We're still going to make it story that could have been.
Yeah, it still might happen.
That's great.
Visible Mobile is running on your Verizon network for only $40 a month. That's it, inclusive of everything.
Tax deductible $40 a month.
When we say everything, we mean you get unlimited calls, unlimited text, unlimited data.
Which means I can list more on eBay.
You can list more. It has a mobile hotspot included. Turn your phone into a hotspot. Everything, all the details are over at visible.com. All you got to do is go over there and check it out. When you're there, use our referral code BBWBQ. Tell them Death Piles and Taxes sent you. That's all you need to know. And when you use that code, you save $20. So $20 a month, Verizon Network for try and get out.
And
beat that.
And you get the $200 gift card. That's like 5 months free.
Go over to their website, get all the details at visiblemobile.com.
Okay, well, welcome back to the second half of Death Piles and Taxes. From the first part, Derek's had quite the interesting weeks, the ups, the downs.
The reseller life, right?
You never know what's going to happen. So that was part one of 2 stories that happened this week.
Before we get to our second story, though, we need to take advantage of, we got Mr. Painter in studio here, and he's became somewhat of an eBay stalker and expert. He's took over the niche of the wrestling cards, and do you want to share that story with the listeners about how you Skyped in on this auction and you did it for resale purposes and just the whole process there?
Yeah, so Derek, he's got me kind of started probably in February. Is that January, February time frames when we
Sounds about right.
first started looking at things, and I found a Hulk Hogan card. It's one of Derek's old Monty Gum style Hulk Hogan cards. Awesome card. He's playing the guitar and things like that, and that kind of started the thing for me. I started bundling and doing that kind of thing and sniping, and this was off of Mercari. I found that on Mercari, and so I was like, well, there's got to be more things out there. And so I dug into this rabbit hole. I dove in pretty darn deep on eBay, and turns out you can find a lot of things that aren't easy to find because people aren't using those keywords that generally you're talking about, Derek. You guys are always saying, use the keywords to describe things. And anyway, this person had a 1982 Wrestling All-Stars, the complete set, Series A. There's 32 cards there, and they had it listed as an auction, and nobody was watching it at the time. So I actually waited. Now
for the listeners, we talk a lot of cards, and not everyone's up on cards, and especially not a lot of people are up on pro wrestling cards.
Yeah. No, that's true.
So this series is considered the holy grail to a lot of us people that like the sports entertainment.
So I mean, kind of like Derek said, so it features Hulk Hogan's rookie card. It's a cool card.
Who might be the Michael Jordan of pro wrestling?
It probably is the GOAT. The old Pringle man.
That makes
but But it also includes a kind of a rare Andre the Giant card. I don't know if it's considered Andre's rookie. He had some Japanese stuff, but it for all intents and purposes, it's the card.
But like literally, when he found this on eBay, this is like walking into the Goodwill and finding whatever item that you have seen. Literally the holy grail.
Of whatever you do.
The greatest.
This is like, the Michael Jordan complete set of his rookie year, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And when I looked at comps before, Derek and I, these were the holy grail. I mean, especially the Andre card. That's the one that we wanted to get. We've been looking for that one all over the place. And watched the auction, managed to watch it. I had timer set my phone. Pelican's smart. He does recommend that you set timers and reminders in your phone. And I did that. So this Sunday evening, it seems like all the good auctions end on Sunday evening. I think that's smart.
Smart.
Guys are home. They don't want to go to work, so they're spending money. But anyway, I started.
Now before you get too far into this, these cards are in good condition.
Very good.
In the pop report, there is not a graded 10 of the Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
And none exist. These look like they might possibly be in that when you're looking at them.
I mean,
and they're going for thousands in the condition of not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get 7s and 8s Hogan cards, and they're a couple $1,000 pretty easy. Andres are even more than that. Looking at these cards, though, I mean, I sent screenshots to Derek. I'm like, what do you think, dude? The Hogan may be off center, but it's hard to tell because there's no real good cards of that one anywhere. And it's like it's worth, it's weight in gold, these cards. So Sunday evening, I'm logged into my eBay account. I make a small bid just to get me on the board. Nobody's watching it. There's hardly anyone watching this, which is rare. I mean, there's no bids. There's hardly any watchers showing up. One thing leads to another, and I'm texting these guys. I'm like, it's going down. There may have been some explicits.
And I was watching. I got on. I was following.
This was better than watching certain things in my life. This had some drama built in, some anticipation. When he's pulling the trigger, there's 10 seconds left. You see money start moving.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I mean, I did have probably that half hour early. I had my max bid in, which was a sizable sum.
We're numbers placers. Don't a sizable sum. Or we're talking tens of hundreds of dollars.
No. I actually put my max bid as $900, which is still it's a sizable amount.
Like I might have told the guy the other day, that's a good sum of money at my house.
Yeah, at my home. So that pays for pizza.
So wife, I'm going to spend $900 on wrestling cards.
Yeah. So I just told her I was going all in. She had no clue, but she was kind of paying attention to the children. Sister-in-law was over, so they were talking, and visiting. I'm sitting over on the couch, shaking. I'm looking at my phone. I don't know what she was wondering what I was doing.
But few explicits under your breath. Anytime it went up $1 more, that son of a.
It's like, why's your phone beeping? I mean, what's going on over there? Why are you shaking? And
is everybody okay?
Yeah. So one thing leads to another, though. I've got the whole group on basically watching the eBay auction going off. Maybe 5 seconds before the auction closes, I'm $300 under my max bid. No one's bidding on it. I'm feeling amazing. It's at $600. I'm like, I am going to kill this. This is going to be great. This is college money here for the kids.
You're basically robbing the man line.
I thought so. The clock struck 1. It was still at that number. It refreshes, and I'll be damned if that thing didn't jump to $900, and it showed me as the winner. So the whoever it was, I guess, that was sniping or trying to also bid against me. Turns out there was only one other person. They had the exact same max bid as me, and where mine was in first, I was the winner. I jumped, I screamed, I shook. I haven't had that much adrenaline since I was playing high school sports or watching people play high school sports.
Probably since I won that state tennis championship.
That was the last time I was that excited is when Derek and my younger brother Chris won the state doubles back-to-back in tennis. Anyway, yeah.
So my question is for those of us who aren't up to date on the bidding side of things. It said you said that guy's max bid matched yours, and because yours was in first, you win. So would good advice for the listeners be, if you're going to make a max bid, to make it not a round number? Like, would you have been smarter to go 901?
Yeah, that probably. Yeah, I was hoping that it didn't hit that 900 number, because I was kind of like, that's a lot of freaking money. I mean, literally 5-10 minutes. Well, I guess half hour before I was thinking my max was going to be in that 8 range. And I was like, screw it, I'm going all in. And so I went 9. And I do think though that going maybe $1 or $2 over the max is probably.
If it comes down to who got in first, and let's say there's more than just one other person, let's say there's 50 other people, you don't know who got in first. I think if you go, up $1 or $2 from a, not 950 but 951 or something like that, I think that might give you an edge.
Well, you were lucky because you found it early, and it was one of those hidden. If you don't use the right keywords, if you do some searching, you can find some real. Obviously some deals here because it's going to turn into a lot of money for you, hopefully. But
Great tip there from Pelican.
yeah, Pelican. That's why we brought him in. We only have the best on our show. We bring in the best, the big guns,
Experts.
and but a lot of people do this Skyping, and what that is you can set a program so you don't have to be like Mike watching your phone all day, because some auctions end at 3 in the morning Australian time or whatever, right? So you can't be around it all the time. There's programs where you'll put in, this is my high bid, and go all in at 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left. So when you do the auctions, just know that the last probably 10 seconds is where all your action's going to be, because everyone's trying to get that last big push in. So to Pelican's point, if you're going to go all in, probably go, what's going to hurt you, go $2-3 extra to be that, 350 rare, weird number and end up winning, versus there's 20 people that did 900 and you had to be the guy that did it, right when the auction started, basically. So
yeah, and the tough part was I won this auction back in March, and then we had the times, things have hit.
Trouble times are going on in the world today.
Yeah, exactly. And so our good friends at PSA closed up shop, and so I've been sitting with these in my safe for the last 3 months. And I want everybody to know that I received notification that they were delivered yesterday and received by the good folks at the PSA. So that was a big relief off my shoulders that's now in their hands. I feel good about that.
So Mike's taking the extra step. He could flip this around and just sold as is and made a pretty good profit off
I think
that.
I could have doubled my money probably, at least.
But he's taking the next step. He's going to get them graded, which per card that adds up. He decided to go with the whole set.
Yep, I did.
And what was the strategy behind the whole set?
I don't know that there's a whole set out there that's been graded, or at least that I can see. All the cards, but one is in pretty doggone good shape. I think there's going to be some 9s and 10s in the group, if not the Hogan and Andre for sure. But my thought is the whole set's graded. They're there. I'm going to shoot for the stars as far as the price. I might list it for $15,000 and see what happens. It's sunk cost already, so I'm in it for the long run now.
So again, I just want to kind of reaffirm how big a find this is. This is like, not everyone's into sports, but this is like walking into Goodwill and finding Bill Gates' original Apple computer. This is
Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Microsoft.
Yes.
But you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm not the computer guy. This is like walking into Goodwill and finding the Al Capone tax documents that got him implemented.
Or even more. Yeah, even more. It's going on to eBay and seeing somebody has these and it's just listed it not very well.
This is like finding,
The needle and agent.
No, Larry Miller's Lexus for $1,000 to your.
What did you pay for that Lexus, Pelly?
It's like finding the last pair of shoes that Larry H. ever wore.
What are you into that? What are you into that Lexus on? Hey, you don't jump on beams around these parts.
Less than 5.
So,
Less than $500. See, that guy, he gets his
500.
deals.
Yeah. less than 500. Have you spent
My
more
question-
on the weekend at Wendover than you did for this car?
For Painter, so you said you took the cards out of the safe.
Yes.
Did you put the guns back in afterward?
There's always plenty of room for more.
Oh, okay.
I actually lost all my guns in a boating accident several years ago. So.
So if you got some scuba gear, I know a place where you can make some money.
But yeah, in all honesty, I'd been looking though, and kind of like Derek said, I was down that rabbit hole, and the Andre, the Hogan, it's got a Ric Flair rookie card in it. Those alone, I can make a few $1,000s, but where I want to, add it all together, I think it'll be a good opportunity. And I found another Hogan and Andre card the other day separately, made a good bundle deal. I talked to Derek's all about the bundle, and I talked to the guy, and then I think I got the Hogan, Andre, Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter, 8 or 9 of these cards for basically the price that the guy paid for a Hogan.
I've never owned one of these cards, and every time I find one, I chat up with the guy, and he said, "Oh, those cards just sold," and then I know who they went to. So I've created my own worst enemy and a nightmare here. But this guy can deep dive. He's found some things that are just, for what we're doing, pretty amazing.
The apprentice has well worked past the master.
He's good at what he does, and so he sent him into PSA. Hopefully they come back with some high grades, and like he said, he's going to put them up as a bundle package of, $15,000 or nothing. And there's going to be people out there that want this Hogan and Andre card bad enough that they will buy the whole set at this price, whether they want the rest of the cards or not. So I'm giddy. I'm pretty excited about it for Mike. And when everything was going down, I was excited. My wife couldn't figure out what was going on. I tried to explain it to her, and she, thought we were on crack. But
So, same with my wife.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Mike just got the home run. He got the Andre card. He got the Hogan. And she's like, oh, that's nice. I don't understand why you're excited. But I'm like, no, this is rare. Okay, yeah, I've heard that before.
Well, and then my wife, sweetheart, she, as I win this auction, she goes, you won, and she was all excited for me, and she gets the notifications on eBay because we do the eBay thing together. And she goes, well, how much did you? Oh my hell, you paid $900 for these cards. And I said, it'll be okay. And her sister's there looking at me like I got 3 eyes and a horn. So this is bad.
Pro wrestling cards.
So if I wasn't already a social outcast, by hell I am now.
Did they throw? Did you say? Well, there's free shipping.
Yeah, and that also was a nerve-wracking thing. So I reached out to Derek. I'm like, what do I do when I talk to this guy? And he's offering free shipping, and he's like, you talk to this man and make sure he packages this like it is the cure to Corona. And I basically quoted him verbatim, and he said, don't worry, dude, it will be. And it wasn't bad packaging. Lots of bubble wrap. So
I see an Andre the Giant card here for 99 cents. Do you think I can flip that for 15 grand?
Good investment.
Different card.
which is a good point. There's a lot of different spectrums of cards, especially when you get into it. There's a lot that are real. Derek and I had an opportunity this week. We can't quite get into it because it's a whole nother story. Learning about fakes and reals.
Well,
This one says
a
rare.
little bit though. No, Adam's got some time.
I've got some prior obligations that I have to take care of, or this will be the last podcast ever.
I brought a magnifying glass to a gunfight.
That's a true story. So we'll get into that next time. But I want to go over some actually deep dive, and a tip is I actually sent in my first own grouping of cards to PSA this week. Again, Derek, he's been quite the facilitator. He's allowed us to piggyback off of what he's been doing. We've been able to just give him cards, and he took care of it.
I just want you guys to get this backpack. They used to give you books.
I can't wait till I get the backpack.
I'm still waiting on my magazine to get here.
Oh, I got one yesterday. I should have brought it.
Oh, man. So Derek, he informed me, like, hey, this isn't just like you give them to me and I do the work for you. Hey, man, I found some cards. Can you send it off?
No, I was getting to the point where you guys were pretty serious at first, facilitate whatever, but you're getting to the point where you can't wait on me to have your stuff ready. And Painter had this big lot of these wrestling cards, and when you sign up, depending what level you go, you get that 15 free listings, and it's a lot faster than the slow boat. I knew he was looking to flip. I don't want him held up waiting for 15 grand for Derek to get him in and get him back, half a year from now.
So I signed up for the PSA Platinum account.
Mm-hmm.
It was $250. Again, that's a tax write-off. Make sure your accountant understands that it was a membership fee. It'll go listed on your tax return. So I bought that, and it gave me 15 items to send off. So you have to go into the PSA report. You type in the name of the card. It auto-populates.
Beer's getting warm.
Okay. Pelican's got some things to take care of. So anyways, I had a chance to learn how to submit these cards. It's actually, it wasn't as hard as you thought, but there's a slight learning curve. You got to do that. So, and again, I learned after the fact. I had 2 different groups, and I sent them as 2 different groups. I had my 15 free, and then I had some other ones that were more. Because depending on the time of the year, the specials, it was $20 a card, and that was a little bit more than what I thought.
A little steep.
So, I've got a stack to, from here to the ceiling that I want to send off to get graded. But I only took in some others. I took in some Jordan cards, some other things, and I got that order ready. And then Derek says, hey, have you seen the GOAT special? And I went, what are you talking about? The GOAT special is you can send in all of your Jordans for $10 a card, and I'd already grouped some in this other thing, so I'm like, crap, I got to find some more Jordans. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
We always got to find more Jordans. If anyone's got any Michael Jordan cards that they want to send to Derek, he'll take them free of charge. I'll pay shipping, no problems, no questions asked. I'm kind of an expert on the Michael Jordan rookie card as of the story that we'll tell next week. And fakes are out there, and they're pretty clever. But Michael, you had your own package as well. Everything went smooth with that?
Yeah. So I shipped 2 packages, or 2 orders in the same package. Like Adam, I sent my 12, my high-end one, so my 2 Hogans and Andres, they all went in that one. And then I had my 50 economy cards that I sent out otherwise. So before I'll get the whole set up, I'll be out a little ways. But yeah, it's quite an interesting thing. It sounds like some of us changed since Derek. We used to just dump everything on Derek, and he'd send every card. Now you kind of break them up by years and things. So,
yeah, it's always changing. It's like everything. I mean, eBay changes things. Everything evolves. So. I also wanted to bring up really fast that Facebook, I don't know if you guys have seen this, they're going to start their own, you can have a store on Facebook, basically. So I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent for eBay's future, but they're not going to charge any fees. Facebook's based off ads. So they're just trying to find more things to put ads on, basically, for people to join. I know Pelican's not on the Facebook. He's one of the rare cats not on that. He's a different breed of guy, but...
So if you're not on the Facebook, are you on the gram? Are you hitting Twitter? Are you playing with TikTok? What are you doing to get your social media outlet?
I have no social media, no TikTok. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Facebook intrigues me just because, I wonder if some people are still alive, but I really don't care that much. And then no, I'm out of the social media. I guess Strava. Strava's my social media. That's an app for people who are trying to get out of the Husky section. I'm not quite out yet, but
app too, Pelican.
My payer's not a fan of that, but anyways, they've done a partnership. There's a thing called ThreadUp that just did a big merger with Walmart.
Walmart, yeah.
So that's gonna be on Walmart.com. So there's a lot more opportunities for resellers. I found with my jazz stuff going locally on the marketplace of Facebook's been nice. If they allow you to open up a store, that could be some pretty good potential, and it could be a big deal for eBay if a lot of people can list their stuff on there, be able to ship and not have fees. So that's something to keep an eye on. I know we've been kind of heavy on sports and friend stories going back to this episode. Hope the listeners have enjoyed it. If nothing else, I have.
We're making records. We've always talked about writing a book, and this is the audio version because, as Pelican knows, my writing skills are subpar. But I can talk with the best of them.
I guess as we close it up, anyone got anything else they'd like to address to the group before we move on to be known in infamy forever on the podcast? Pelican, first time, long time, happy to have you here. Anything to add on here at the end? Are you good?
Just so proud to be associated with such fine gentlemen. You can follow Derek on the Instagrams or the Twitters. He's going to start getting better at that, he promised. You can follow me on the Strava, Scott Wallace, South Ogden, Utah.
Just on the grinder, Pelican?
No comment.
No comment there. Mr. Painter, anything else besides that comment for us?
No, I'm privileged to be here, and I appreciate all the good feedback you guys give me. You guys help us out with the stores, and I hope that the listeners get that too.
If anything, it's been fun. It's an enjoyable thing, so we hope that you're getting into it with the group. We have a text group with our friends. Start doing the same thing. I mean, we have learned a lot over the past year, and if anything, we've come closer. I'll just, I believe, and again, I'll take credit for it because it's what I do. This text group started when Gordon Hayward broke his foot. It was one of the most gruesome.
Respectfully disagree.
Well, of course you can. This is my podcast. Next time you get your own podcast, you can tell the story from your view.
From where he sits.
From where he sits, but from where I sit, that's when it really kind of started again. So get involved.
You did send a funny meme of Peter Griffin with a broken leg when Gordon Hayward got hurt, yes.
And I
But
started that thread.
the text thread started when I asked if anybody remembered a certain instance that happened at the lunch table. And it turns out that everyone I thought was our friends on that text thread, there may have been an imposter on that thread.
Oh, yeah, fake Trevor Hooper.
No, that is not true. We can go back. There was a one prior to that, but that's only circumstance. So get
So
involved.
Gordon Hayward started our text group.
Gordon State Hayward, broken foot.
We owe Gordy a lot.
The records. But get involved, like I says, talk about it. Like I says, bringing up different things. We're a podcast about eBay. We're also about learning from others. We went through a text thread. I'm doing a refinance on my house right now. It's something we brought up in our text thread. We're all about helping each other, and that's kind of what the goal of this podcast really is.
Yeah, help each other out. Mike Painter, I'd like to thank you for my copper coin that you presented.
Yeah.
I'm a big copper guy.
You guys keep rubbing copper.
And two things in life are certain, Pelican. What are they?
Death piles and taxes.